Morning, guys. It's Saturday. I'm actually out in the shop. The wife and kids let me get out for a little while. Today I'm doing vinyl graphics on the race car. My buddy over at Years Motorsports hooked me up with some vinyl. We got some numbers here to put on. 46s. Something like this. Of course it looks backwards because I got my camera turned around. Which actually I know better. It looks backwards to me, but when I actually watch the video it would be straight. I know it's weird, but anyways. We're going to put some numbers on this car today. So, how this works is I do wet application. It's how I've always done it. You got to make sure your surface is good and clean before you start. Sorry, I got a cold. But Windex is usually what I use to clean the surface because, well, on this surface it's already clean because this car is, fairly freshly painted. So I don't have to worry about the dirt, grime, grease, and stuff. If you've got a dirty, grimy, greasy surface that you're going to try to put a graphic on, you should probably use something like Simple Green first to get all the dirt and grit and grime and stuff off of it. And then you can actually mix 50% isopropyl alcohol with water. Go 50-50 with it. That works good for cleaning the surface. Make sure it's good and clean of grease and anything underneath. And then you can prep for your graphic. Now, what I use for putting my graphics on is water. This has been used a lot, so there's only a little bit in the bottom of it, but I usually fill the bottle up with water, and then I put like a tablespoon of rubbing alcohol and like a drop or two of soap. And that's what I use for my application spray, we're going to call it. So what you're going to need is a little squeegee, which I didn't grab yet. Apparently I'm not really paying attention to what I'm doing here. I've got this one here, as you can see, little squeegee. This came with one of the graphics I bought on eBay. I don't remember if it was for the Monte Carlo or probably for the Monte Carlo. But anyways, this came with one of the graphics I bought. But you can get a spatula kind of sort of thing like this at any hardware store, Home Depot, whatever. They've got them. Different paddles for doing things that'll work. I've actually done it with a credit card. That works pretty good too if you don't have one of these laying around. So one of these, some spray, your graphic, and you may or may not need a heat gun depending on the surface that you're putting it on. For example, this has some rivets and stuff, and hopefully, if I'm lucky, we're going to miss the rivets. It depends where I put it. If I put it here, we miss the rivets, but if I come up higher, we do catch the rivets on the front of the 6 here. And I think that's probably what we're going to end up doing, is catching those rivets. Might have a little lip on the back too that we're going to catch. So, but something like that. I mean, I could move it down and miss the rivets if I wanted to, which I guess would be okay too. You know what? We're going to make it easy, and we're going to go ahead and try to miss the rivets. So, this is how it works. Take your application spray. I'm going to stir it up a little here. Kind of dust that on the area that you're going to be putting the graphic. Basically what that does is it gives you some room for error. Peel this off here. It's got a front backing paper on it. So basically you get the opportunity to put this graphic on without it sticking as soon as you touch the surface. Mine doesn't want to let go of its backing here. Usually if you just push on it, it comes right off. So separate the pieces. My fork got a little messed up here, so I'm going to try to fix it. There. Alright. So now, see, it's stuck, and I was able to pull it off. That's the whole point, because if you came in here and got a little wind or something, one corner is stuck and you didn't have that rubbing alcohol mixture on there, it's stuck. You're not getting it off. So this gives you the opportunity to kind of make some mistakes. I can set it, I can step back and look at it, make sure it's, fairly square. That actually looks pretty good. I'm going to come forward this way a little bit so I get this off of the edge back here, just to make it easier for me. See how I was able to peel that right off? Alright. So, I'm trying to square this edge here with this edge. as best I can just by looking at it. And this is missing back here. That is definitely the best spot for that graphic with no intrusions from things around the outside. So, once you get it set where you want it, you take your squeegee, you start from the inside, work your way out. Work all the bubbles and stuff out from under it. Now you can work to the inside of the number, try to work your way to the outside of the number. Now get all those bubbles and stuff out of there, out from under the vinyl. You don't want air bubbles under your vinyl. You want it to be nice and smooth when you get it on there. This specific paddle has like a little felt on the one side of it, which is nice because when you push to the outside, it kind of picks up that water and gets it out of there. It's the first time I've actually seen one like that. It came with that, like I said, it came with a graphic I ordered on eBay. And it works really good. But again, you can do it with a credit card. I've done it with a credit card plenty of times where I just ordered a quick graphic for something, maybe put it on the window of a truck. Either way, that works really good. You can't see it from there, but I got a bubble trapped in here and I'm trying to work it out from under the number. Now, get all that alcohol and stuff out from under there. A lot of times a heat gun, or if you don't have a heat gun, a hair dryer works really good as well. It will also help dry it out underneath. With that rubbing alcohol in there, it helps it evaporate fast, being mixed with the water like that. So it gives you some time to work, move your graphic around, but then at the same time, it doesn't take you forever to get everything out from under it. Because if you just use straight Windex, which I have in the past, it takes you forever to squeegee that thing out because the Windex is underneath the number and it just doesn't want to dry and adhere, where you don't have that problem with the alcohol mix. Try to get this thing out here best we can. Bubble stuck up there. Get that bad boy out. Alright, let's see if it's stuck. I'm going to start from this corner. I get my fingernails on it. Alright, looks like it's stuck pretty good. Peel this backing off. We're giving a little bit of lift as I pull, but we can go back and work that after we get it off. Now, this one's cooperating. A lot of times you'll go to pull this front backer stick off, and it'll start to pull the graphic up. If that's the case, lay it back down, rework it until you can pull that off without an issue. Now, like I said, I've done this a bunch of times. This is not my first race car. There were graphics on my 88 Monte Carlo. There was actually a big graphic on the 88 Monte Carlo that was not fun to put on. The bigger they are, the harder they are to put on, I'm telling you. And actually on this car, these numbers are going to be the biggest graphics. Working some water out from under it. Another nice part about this felt side is it doesn't really scratch up your graphic when you're doing it. But usually it doesn't hurt too bad even when you're doing the plastic, but this is actually quite a bit nicer felt side on it. It's fighting me a little bit, not too bad. There, there's some alcohol and water rubbing coming out from under it. That graphic down. That water and that air, that alcohol out from under that graphic. Get it down on there nice and smooth. You know, this stuff lays down nice. It almost, I mean, it's like, it's on there when you're done. It's like paint almost, you know. But if you heat it up with a heat gun or a blow dryer like I was talking about, you can peel it off. It's going to ruin the graphic when you go to peel it off. So, I mean, if you get it wrong and you go back and try to peel it off, once it's stuck, it's stuck. You're not saving that graphic. But you gotta try to work all these air bubbles out. So air bubbles can cause problems in the future if the graphic doesn't want to stick or it starts to come off because it never stuck on the edge. So you want to make sure you get as much of that stuff out of there as you can. There we go. One more out of there. Still an air bubble stuck there. As you can see, I'm pushing pretty hard, trying to work that water and alcohol out of there. But I'm getting it. Up to this other bubble. Try to connect the bubbles and then get them out. Got a little bit of it, but the longer you take to do this, the harder it's going to be to get the air and stuff out of it. It starts to dry in here. And once that outside edge adheres, it's almost impossible to get the bubbles out. So you do got to kind of work fast a little bit, but that mixture that you sprayed on in the beginning gives you some time to work. Where if you didn't have any mixture at all, you're done. That thing sticks, it's stuck, it's not going anywhere. That's why I use wet application, because this is a nice flat surface. When you try sticking something like this on a curved surface, you can get in trouble fast. Because it starts to wrinkle the graphic and you got all kinds of problems. Like on the Monte Carlo, I had some issues. As I got down the car to where the fender flared out over the wheel, the graphic would start to bunch because the surface changes, in multiple angles. So you get some issues there. I've had to slice them and let them overlap, which isn't the best way to do it, but it worked for that application. Now, if you watch a video on someone wrapping a car, they do it completely different. They don't do it like this. They don't have the front sticky sheet on it, usually. They usually peel it, and they'll use a heat gun, and they'll pull and stretch and wrap it around the corners and curves and stuff. That's a completely different technique. It's probably a different style of vinyl. But when it comes to like a vinyl sticker or numbers on a race car, something like that, I've always found this is the best way to do it. If you were doing something on a curved surface, trying to, wrap it, maybe you bought a big sheet wrap from like racinggraphics.com or something, then the other route might be better. But they have videos on their website on how to do their stuff too. A lot of times on a race car, you've got a big flat surface you're putting the stuff on. I see I talked to you too long, and now I got a bubble right there that won't come out. Yeah, it won't even move. Because the graphic, maybe it started to move. I might get lucky with this one. Ah, I got it. Alright, that looks pretty good. I'll pick up the camera so you can see it close up, see how smooth it is here. Whoop, there we go. You can see there's not a whole lot of imperfections there. That thing's stuck right down. It's stuck. It's not going anywhere. See if I can get a little angle on it here so you can see there's no bubbles or nothing in it. Just like that. It's stuck. It's not going anywhere. Now we'll put a quick little graphic on the down tube here so you guys can see that. Alright, so same basic idea here. I got an etechsurplus.com sticker we're going to put on this down tube. Same idea. I already cleaned it with some Windex, so we're just going to give it a little quick dusting. That's probably more than I wanted. Sometimes these smaller letters are a little bit harder to get to stick, and sometimes they're harder to get off the paper as well. Now I'm trying not to touch the graphic when I do this, because I don't want my greasy fingerprints or dirt that's on my fingers to get on this sticky part of the graphic, or in this case it's going to peel the paper off. That's not good. Got it. Alright, so, alright. It would have been easier if I took the wing off the car. So anyways, we're going to get this on here as straight as possible. There. How's that look? That's not too bad. Take my hand and try to wrap it around the pipe a little. Stick. As evenly as possible is the plan anyways. Kind of rub it with my fingers a little. Some of the air bubbles out. Sometimes the smaller ones you can just do with your fingers. It's the big flat surfaces that squeegee really comes in handy. eTechSurplus.com is my cousin's business. I've talked about them before on different videos. They buy and sell used equipment, industrial style equipment, sometimes medical equipment, things like that. He doesn't even know he's a sponsor. I kind of just made this decal because in the past he's done a lot for me and given me a lot of different things for the shop that came in that he didn't need and probably wasn't going to make much money on, so family takes care of family. Oh, I pushed a little bit too hard, but I'm going to be able to save it. Use a squeegee on that one, I think. This one's fighting me. Like I said, sometimes these smaller letters can be a pain with the spray. Sometimes it's easier to put them on with the smaller ones on without the spray. The chances of you getting an air bubble stuck under the small one is not very good. And it's fighting me because I got all that rubbing alcohol underneath it, so. Try to surf off a little bit better luck. Trying to get these things to stick. Sometimes they fight you. This one's fighting me pretty good here. Too much rubbing alcohol underneath it. So that's when you pull your heat gun out. Try to get that rubbing alcohol to evaporate. I think when I do the other side, we're going to do it dry. One problem is, like I said before, if you go and try to do it dry, if you miss your alignment, it's too bad. It's stuck. You're not pulling it off. That thing's fighting me all the way up. I should have just skipped the rubbing alcohol. These smaller ones, it's usually easier to skip the rubbing alcohol. Or just put a very little bit on. And you can dust the back of the graphic instead of spraying the car. That's an option too. But yeah, it's fighting me all the way up. Every single letter is fighting, doesn't want to stick. Except for that C. That C seems to be stuck pretty good. I'm gonna grab my heat gun. This thing's fighting me. Now, with the heat gun, I'm going to stay back a little bit. I don't want to burn anything or melt anything. So, we're basically just trying to get that fluid underneath to evaporate so that the graphic will stick. I can see right away it's working. Whew, it's a little warm on my finger though. T doesn't want to stick. Look at that second T. That is warm. Let's see what we got here. See if I can make it stay. Ah, really? I am having a really hard time with this graphic. This thing wants to fight me all the way. Man, wow. Never had one fight me this bad. I will win. I promise you that. Now a lot of times when you're pulling this front sheet, sticky sheet off, if you stay perpendicular to the surface, parallel to the surface, and kind of just roll it back, that's a lot better than trying to pull out perpendicular. Because if you pull out perpendicular, it wants to lift the graphic if it's not stuck all the way. When you pull it parallel to the surface, the graphic tends to stay. Oops, except for the period on .com. There we go. I'm really hoping the E, T, and E at the top stay. Those are the ones that were fighting me the worst. Good. Let's see. Giving me a hard time. We got to stay. There's one E. There's the other, the T. Got it. Whew. Man, that was a fighter. And actually, the one front edge of that E is not quite. Looks like it got folded over on itself, but that's okay. Go back, make sure everything's stuck. Like that C that doesn't want to stick. That one was one of the ones that was cooperating. Whoop. Oh, I'm getting it all messed up now. Let's tap that bad boy down. Come on now. There we go. I'm gonna get hit it with the heat gun again quick. See if I can form it for the fight. There we go. That one's stuck. Seems like it's stuck now. It's not going anywhere. So the other side, I'm going to do that one just freehand with no fluid. See if that goes a little bit better. There's my spatula. Alright, well, let's see what happens. Peel it off. This one's already cooperating better than that other side. Alright, look at that. I grabbed it without touching the graphic. Whoop! That was close. Okay, now get it as straight as possible. I'm pulling pretty tight end to end so this thing doesn't wrinkle on me. At least that's the plan anyways. And again, I'll work my way from the center, because it's a round 2. Work my way out. I got it a little bit crooked, but it's not too bad. And it doesn't really matter if it's bad or not, because I already stuck it, and it's stuck. It ain't coming off now. All right. See how much easier that was? With the smaller graphics, it seems to be the case. They tend to stick better, but like I said before, if you screw up though, you're really in trouble. But that one stuck without fluid. I didn't have to fight it, and it was fast. But you're taking that chance that if you screw up, that it's stuck. So I'm gonna move on and do some the rest of the graphics on the car, and then I'll come back and show you what it looks like when all the graphics are on it. Alright, we got all the graphics on, at least the ones I have now. We gotta find some sponsors to fill all this blank space, but the tail, I had to use the heat gun a little bit because it's curved to keep it from wrinkling, but it went on without too much of a fight. Got the family up on there. Wingboard, missed all the rivets, no issues there. My uncle's business down there, industrialspindle.com, cousin's business, etechsurplus.com. Threw the front wing on. We had to put a number on there. That other number underneath for when we run wingless. Gotta have both. Little fancy blower work there. Some red dots with a black stripe. And then the stuff you already saw. That number there. And of course the other side of the tail, which was actually quite a bit easier. Unfortunately, that's it for vinyl today. Well, fortunately, unfortunately, I guess it doesn't really matter. I'm gonna get the paint out and I'm gonna edge around this star because it's missing something. You can see I did the black around the circle and then I blacked out the skull there. I need to put some black pinstripe around the outside of that star and make it pop a little bit more. It definitely looks like it's missing something right now. I just think it'll work a lot better with the scheme. But as usual, keep it creative and happy building.